According to a new study released last week, U.S. consumers are trending in the wrong direction when it comes to credit card debt. Debt increased by almost $86 billion during Q4 of 2022, the highest quarterly increase ever recorded. Yikes. Jen Burke from the Maine Credit Union League is here to talk with us about the study's findings and maybe some strategies for people who are, part of this statistic. Jen, where do we start?
Yeah, I mean, the news that came out isn't good. They had the highest quarterly jump in credit card debt. And if you look at how many people are in debt across the country, the average is about $10,000. $10,000 in credit card debt at a time when interest rates are at their highest. So that goes to show more and more American consumers are turning to their plastic cards to get by. But that's a really slippery slope, especially with interest rates. So consumers really need to be mindful and get their credit card debt in check.
How, right? That's the question, because, if you're one of those households, it may seem overwhelming.
And it absolutely is overwhelming. And I think it's important to recognize the emotional stress that credit card debt has on individuals and families. But it's really important, as a good first step, is to take a look at your credit card debt. Examine your credit cards, figure out how much you owe in each card and what the interest rate you're paying is on each card, and get that in order. Then you really do need to create a budget, because if you're just paying the monthly minimum balance each month, it's going to take you a long time and cost you more over the long run to pay that balance down. So creating a budget, figuring out what your wants and your needs are. Like, you may want to have that streaming service. Do you need it? No. You may want to go get a cup of coffee on your way into work. Do you need it? No. So figure out how you can take that money and put it toward the principal of your debt. And then you also may want to look into either a debt consolidation or, for example, consolidating debt into a new credit card. And you're probably thinking, another credit card?
Right.
But sometimes there are credit cards that will have these low introductory offers, 0% for 12 or 18 months. Considering transferring that debt to a card like that and pay off that principal. So it's not an easy journey, but clearly it's a journey that a lot of Americans, a lot of Mainers face. And the study even looked at Portland versus Lewiston and debt that's been incurred. Lewiston's doing better than Portland, but Portland has increased their credit card debt by over $1,000.
I mean, that's pretty eye-opening. It's pretty eye-popping. And if you're, again, one of these families, it can be really difficult to even start to do it. And you think you're paying the minimum, or you're thinking you're paying a little bit more, but we have to remember that the interest rate is higher, so even less is going to the principal.
Right.
Yeah.
But if you are in a position where you're just barely getting by, again, re-examine your budget to figure out how you can put more toward your debt. But the key here is, you got to pay that minimum balance. You want to pay more than that to get the debt down, but don't think, hey, I can avoid this and it will just go away, because it'll cost you more. It can impact your credit. You can get charged late fees. It will just make the cycle worse. So it's clearly a problem, and a lot of households are facing this, but there are things that you can do. It's not saying it's going to be easy, but this should be a really good wake-up call for a lot of folks, and there is help out there. And even talk to your financial institution to see, hey, how can I get my budget better in line?
Yeah, they may be able to help.
100% they can help.
Yeah. All right, Jen, thank you so much. Good advice there. And now here's a sneak peek of